Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So today I kind of want to talk about how I feel like I kind of peaked out in terms of my career, in terms of real estate, in terms of building wealth, and in terms of kind of mindset, I would say. So I kind of said this before in a separate video. So it's kind of funny in life. When you're growing too fast and you're building too much wealth too fast, that's stressful. If you're staying stagnant, you feel no progress. You feel stressed and it feels stressful. If you're declining, you're feeling stressed and it feels stressful. So those are the three possible options. So literally, whether I'm growing too fast, feeling stagnant, feeling like I have no progress, or declining, all three are stressful, right? So for me, I've experienced all of the above, right? I bought 90 units of real estate in a short amount of time. It felt stressful. I was losing money on my mobile home park and I was declining and I need to sell it. And that was really stressful. And right now I feel stagnant and that makes me feel stressed as well. But, obviously the levels of stress vary. So the worst was when I was going downhill. That was the worst stress. When I was going uphill, I felt stressed out as well, but it was kind of self-induced. And then when I'm stagnant, it's all like mindset because I feel like I should be progressing. I feel like I should be stimulated. I feel like I should be growing. And that in itself makes me feel stressed. So right now in this phase, I feel like I am stagnant. And I feel like I'm stagnant in almost all facets of my life right now. So like I'm seeing no growth. And let me break it down for you guys. So real estate, obviously been at 52 units for a while now. The cash flow is the same. The rental market has been a little bit stagnant, I would say, and expenses have gone up. So if you combine rent staying the same and expenses going up because, repairs cost more, insurance costs more, property tax costs more, then actually your rental income goes down overall net. Right? Because usually your rents have to raise to keep up with the expenses that are going up. So real estate wise, I feel like it's very stagnant, very similar. And, obviously I could buy more real estate and it doesn't make sense right now unless I find an amazing deal. But real estate's the housing market's at a weird standstill right now where basically sellers aren't as desperate enough yet where you can get major discounts. I'm talking like 40-50% discounts on small multifamily real estate, small apartment complexes, and actually single family homes. So the moment that happens, I want to try swoop in a lot of deals, creative finance, use subject to of seller carry second, and swoop in a bunch of deals, assume a bunch of low interest rates, and rent these units out when the opportunity comes. So I'm just kind of like sitting and waiting for the opportunity. And I know with like real estate, eventually I'll get there. Like I know I can buy another apartment complex. I know I can buy another single family home. It's just that right now I don't want to put a large down payment because I want to stay liquid unless it's a super amazing deal. So, I don't want to put your 25, 30, 35% down. I'd rather put 10% down. And because of that, it's going to be a very niche deal and it's going to be obviously a lot harder to find that type of deal, but I'm patient. So that's why I said I feel stagnant in terms of real estate. Like I haven't bought an apartment in a while. My real estate portfolio is stabilized. My 20 unit is fixed up. My 26 units fixed up. It's just routine repairs and maintenance and tenant turnover and making sure that the units are occupied. I have noticed that rents have dropped a little bit in my 20 unit apartment complex. Like at the peak, it was like $550, and now we're renting at around $450 to $500. So rents have dropped about $50 to $100 just to get people in the units so that I'm getting income. And so real estate feels stagnant, right? And like I feel stagnant, but the housing market kind of feels stagnant, so that's okay. And then in terms of like my career, my W-2, I kind of felt like I kind of hit the peak already, like very early on. Like I was a director of pharmacy at 27 years old. I'm now 35. I've been a regional director of pharmacy over 2 hospitals. I've been at big name hospitals. I've been at little name hospitals. And I've pretty much seen every single setting, in my opinion, at least in the hospital realm. And I just kind of know that like I kind of seen it all. Even if I were to move up now, like it's not going to be that much more different. So obviously it's just optimizing for do I like the work I'm doing? Is it not too stressful? And do I like working with the people that I'm working at? So that's kind of the factors now. But unless I step into like a completely different industry of hospital, like right now I'm hospital, unless I step into like, big pharma, or I step into like the health insurance realm, um, I'm not going to really learn too much. Like I already kind of know 80%, I would say, of what happens day to day. And the other 20%, I know I could probably learn if I really focus for like maybe 2 hours. So as a result, I kind of just feel like, your job, once you get the cadence and the routine, it's just kind of like on autopilot for the most part. Like most of the things that I'm doing, it's pretty much copy and paste from my prior jobs. So, you kind of feel stagnant there too. So my real estate's stagnant, and then my job feels stagnant. And then in terms of like my physical health, once again, I probably got bad, but then I've been pretty consistent going to the gym ever since the gym opened up where I live, for the past like 7 months. And I feel like Christine and I, we've been pretty consistent. Like we try to go like 3 to 4 times a week, for about 30 to 45 minutes. And when we work out, like we try to have no distractions, like no phone, no surfing the web. Like we just hit it hard and fast with minimal, like 30-second to 6-second breaks, and then try to get out of there. On days that we don't gym, we try to like walk around our neighborhood, our community, to get exercise, fresh air after we eat. Or on days we don't work out, we like swim in our pool and go to the jacuzzi, right? So like every day we try to stay active in a way, with a good mix. But even in terms of like my health, like I used to be like a power lifter, believe it or not, where I'm about 130 in terms of my weight, and I was benching at my max. Like this is like 10 years ago, right? In my prime, quote unquote prime, I was benching like 215 pounds. I was deadlifting 365 pounds, and I was squatting about 225. I wasn't great at squats, if I'm being honest. And then today, like obviously my gym now doesn't have like barbells. I can't bench press, I can't deadlift, I can't squat. But even the way I was lifting back then, like 10 years ago, it's not sustainable today. Like obviously deadlifting, if you do it wrong, squats, if you do it wrong, bench press, if you do it wrong, you can hurt yourself and ends up making your health worse. So now I'm working out in a way where it's more focused on longevity, so that I could sustain this for the rest of my life. So, it's a lot of machines and a lot of dumbbells, right? That's really the combination now. So I'll do like dumbbell deadlifts. You can squat with dumbbells, and or do the leg press machine. So, I kind of feel like the numbers that I'm like doing, it just feels very similar. And I don't know, is because like maybe I'm not as into working out as I was like 10 years ago. Like I feel like I was working out a lot to like try to get girls. That was my motivation. But even at my strongest, like I just, my muscles are like, don't get that big in general. Like I'm not, I have a hard time gaining weight. I have a hard time building muscle. And it might just be my genetics. But yeah, like I just remember like, oh, like even at my strongest, I wasn't like that buff. Like if you watch the UFC fighters who are like in that 125, 130 range weight class, like I was like, that's the buffest I ever get. But I'm not sure if I'm dedicated enough in terms of diet and gymming to get there. So like when I work out, like I just feel very stagnant. Like I've been like doing the same weights for like honestly the past like 5 years. Like it's just like, okay, like like you just kind of like slowly gradually lift it, or just want to maintain the muscle mass. So it's like kind of like a maintenance in terms of that. So that feels stagnant as well. And then like in terms of like my personal life, like I felt like I kind of put it on pause a little bit. Like I always prioritize travel, like at least 4 times a year, I would say, 2 international, and then 2 smaller trips. And then I always, luckily I always, married to Christine now, but I lived with her for like after a year and a half of dating. We've basically been living together for almost like 4 years now. So I always get to see her. We always got to do things together. So I would say I did have some growth in terms of like, obviously now I'm married, we're living in a house together, but I kind of felt like I was heading that way anyways the moment we like first moved in together. Like the first 6 months was hard, but the intent of moving together was to see if we're compatible with each other, and with the aim of going towards engagement and then marriage, and it worked out for us. But even that kind of feels like slightly stagnant. So it's kind of interesting. Like so my real estate feels stagnant, my job feels stagnant, my physical health feels stagnant. now my what is it? My personal life feels like comfortable. Like, I have a good balance now. So I feel like I have a good grasp on everything. Um, and even like YouTube, I would say YouTube kind of feels like a little bit stagnant right now because like it's not like growing as rapidly as I thought just by doing it for a few years. I know virality changes, but like for me, like it's just like kind of like daily discipline for like all the above, right? So like, am I consistently analyzing deals and making offers in real estate? Yes. Okay, great. Check mark. Am I at least learning one or two things in my job every day? Yes. Check mark. Am I at least striving to like maintain my health and slowly improve my health over time? Yes. Check mark. Am I still focusing on like my personal life, like going out? Like we went to a concert recently. We travel. We plan our trips. We hang out with friends and family. Yes. Check. Right. And then, am I posting consistently daily on YouTube? Yes. Check. So I'm still striving to work all 5 things, but what's getting to me, and I talked about this a lot, is like it just feels so boring because it's like on autopilot. But what I do know from podcasts is that the moment it feels boring, the moment you feel like you're on autopilot, that's the moment when you're successful at it, right? You know that you hit your success. You know that you just continue doing this, and then you'll just hit whatever goals you want. Like if I do nothing, my net worth will compound and compound. If I do nothing, I'll learn more and more on my W-2. If I do nothing and I post consistent videos every day, eventually, one day, it'll blow up, maybe, right? Or just slowly get better and better. Physical health, as long as I keep on going consistently, I'll get there. And so that's kind of it. Like, so you just have to still make those actions to the point where like it feels so boring. And I'm not bored because I'm not doing something. I'm just bored because I'm just doing the same thing. But it's the same good things, the same good habits that strive towards it. So, anyways, just kind of want to create this video about it because I've been feeling very bored, very stagnant. I feel like I have had no growth. But after making this video, I kind of realized like, yeah, I am growing, not as fast as it's not exponential, but it's just these daily little things that you do that start to compound over time is a key message. So anyways, if you want to learn to buy multifamily real estate, some coaching, some guidance, click on my link tree down below. From there, you can see my courses, my coaching, and send me an email as well if you want a discount code. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.